Welcome to In Cadence, everyone. This is season 1, episode 7. Welcome to PAX, wherever you are. Let's go.
Hi, all. Yeah, this is Keith 43 Flea.
And I'm Ken. I'm 51, and in the gloom, PAX call me Shredder.
And our epic guest today, I'll let him introduce himself, is...
I'm Pete 42 Gust.
Fantastic.
Great.
Thank you.
Well,
welcome.
Look, this has been one we've been wanting to do for a while, and obviously Gus wanted to be first, but we not quite got there. But here we are. And when I started at F3 last October, Gust was one of the leaders at the location, the AO that I first went to, the circuit. And I've kind of really been checking my memory banks. And at my age, some of those files are getting a bit corrupted, but I don't seem to have on file information about how he got his F3 name. So that means we can play the name game. So Fleet, go on, you start us off.
Immediately, Gust, I'm thinking something with wind related. I'd like to think that we're embracing renewable energy in the UK and that you're involved with some sort of wind turbine installations.
Okay. Is that it?
That's my guess. I'm just going straight in for a
good.
one only guess.
Right, wind turbines. Look, so I had a while ago, I had a sleepover at Gust's house. You know, it was fun, and I was going for a curry with some of the boys from one of the other AOs, and I got to sleep with Gust's cats, which was cool. Actually, they didn't come in, thank goodness. Rumor mill to me later was in the morning, Gus needed a poo, and he didn't get to do it because he was worried about waking me up. So I have this thing that they named him on the basis that if he doesn't do a pre-BD poo, he's very farty. So I think that's my guess. What's the truth?
No one's going to notice that my headphones have suddenly come off and turned into little ones.
That's the magic of the In Cadence studio. We don't mention that.
Yeah. So the truth is that I stepped forward for the naming thing full of sort of anticipation, knowing that it was all going to be down to what I said as to whether or not they were going to call me something cool. And so I gave them as much information as I could. I was like, I told them about my history as trained as an actor and worked as an actor for a good few years, and like some of the companies I worked for. I told them that I was a drone pilot and that I did that on the side as a side hustle. I told them that I was involved in a charity at the moment where I was working for the Royal Variety, and we put on this Royal Variety performance each year. And one of the funny South Africans just stepped up and went, "It's a bit windy, isn't it? Dust." That's it. That's the truth. That's why I'm called. It was just a windy ass day.
There you go. I think my theory is better.
I think it was.
No,
No
it's
poo
good.
involved, though, sadly.
Cool. All right, let's get into the next questions. So if you were embodied as an F3 exercise, which one would it be?
I'd say it would be Mosey with Cindy rifle carry, because it's purposeful and weighted. And I think these days I'm not afraid to take responsibility as a result of this stuff, and not afraid to try and move what others can't. And that Styx quote, "just effing do it," comes to mind. So doing it as well without any fanfare or applause, that's it. Yeah. So Cindy rifle carry.
Excellent. What sort of Mosey speed for this rifle carry? Because I'm quite curious as to is it a slow, steady Mosey, or are you?
We did it on Saturday with pigeon steps. That was tough. That's tough. Pigeon steps. That's literally just like this. It's really difficult not to do it and look like you're mincing, but you know.
It's going to be Americans now going, where's the dictionary? What do they mean again? No, I know. Don't search that. Okay, so if that's how you're embodied, would you say in terms of exercises that is your gravy? And if it is, then what would your kryptonite be? What would be your
gravy? Yeah, Mosey's in my gravy these days. Sprints. I'm not afraid of a sprint. I like that. So that's my gravy.
What about kryptonite? Yeah.
Kryptonite. I attended a VQ recently for a mate of mine, Bo, at the Way, and he did a couple of exercises during a music round, which was simply leg flutters followed by Freddie Mercury's, followed by leg flutters, followed by Freddie Mercury's. just taking it in turns like that. And I tell you what, I would challenge any speed packs, to do that just for 4 minutes and not have to take a break. And I've got, I've been doing this for a little while. I thought, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, no problem at all. My goodness me, after about 3.5 minutes, you're just on your knees. Well, you're not, you're on your back.
It's amazing. No matter how fast you are, no matter how fast the packs, no matter how strong the packs, everyone's crying when it comes to 6 minutes of Mary. Whichever form, whichever exercise it is that you're doing within that.
Yeah.
Sorts of men from the boys.
The one I did recently at the Brook was we used Total Eclipse of the Heart, and I put it on a few of the chats. And basically, all you did was you started in the Superman pose on your stomach, and then every time she said turn around bright eyes, you went around into dead bug and then back. And after about 3 minutes, my glasses started to steam up and I could hear the packs grunting. And I was like, okay, this is good. We're almost doing nothing. And your abs are going, please just leave me alone to die. It was horrific. Good. Excellent.
I loved it. I love using music though for workouts and BDs when you're queuing.
Definitely.
What about you, Gus? I mean, do you go to music for your BDs when you're queuing, or are you more traditionalist?
My view was, and always incorporated music in my BD. I don't have done one where I haven't had a music round, and I like to sort of mess it up a bit and like tracks while doing something really hard. And but I brought the Rage Against the Machine, or a version of it, to the Weir a few months ago now, and they it's difficult to listen to Rage Against the Machine whilst working out and not like trying to start channeling the rage, and I kept shouting like, get angry with it, like that. And now I can't do a BD at the Weir without some packs going like, get angry with it.
And quote when you're not there.
Yeah, exactly.
So as a cue gives a BD a theme. When we talked about preparation for today, we talked about the theme of experience, strength, and hope. And I want us to jump into this, and Gus, to give you a chance to tell your story of why you joined F3, what brought you to F3, and just want you to kind of gift the people listening with your story, and we'll ask you some questions as in a minute.
Okay, gift. That's an interesting word. I'm not sure it's going to be a gift, but so yeah, experience, strength, and hope is a term used in 12-step recovery. So I've been in recovery from addiction this time around for about 6 years, 3 months, and days. I say this time around as in I'm clean and sober, and so I'm not going to like do the whole caboodle on that, but I guess by March 2023, when I joined F3, I was already 4 years in the rooms. I'd got a sponsor. I'd worked for 12 Steps of Recovery. I'd got sponsees myself. We'd relocated. We'd moved home, moved to Surrey, and didn't really. Well, I turned 40. That was part of it. I turned 40 and found myself just really avoiding mirrors in my house. I'd been running sort of through COVID, but every time I tried to join the gym, it didn't really work. And every time I tried to do something about how I was feeling about myself physically, it didn't work. And by it didn't work, I mean I just wasn't accountable, and I didn't have anyone to sort of do it with, I guess. And then certainly moving to Surrey, I didn't have any friends here, didn't know anyone in the area. And then my very first sponsor, a guy called Endaf, who I love very much, sent me. I think we were chatting actually. He just said, "Oh, I was reading this article, and he's a very well-read guy, and he was like, I was reading this article. I wish there was an F3 near me." And this poor man lives out in Wales, so I said, "What's F3?" And that was it. Looked it up on Facebook as we were talking, and turned out the nearest one was in Woking, and I'm in Newhall. I have to be very careful how I say that for Shredder to make sure he doesn't laugh. And it's 12 minutes away, and literally within sort of half an hour of the phone call with Endaf, I messaged on this group, and put in touch with Safari, who messaged me, and he was like, I'm going to put you in touch with Sticks. And then Sticks said, yeah, just rock up on a Monday at this random car park in Woking. So I did. And I guess the driving force, like it is for so many of us, was just wanted to get fit, or at least just lose a bit of the fat that I just felt like I was carrying. I suppose I didn't really think much of it. I just thought, this is mad. Great. One thing I knew about was my sleep hygiene was all over the place at that time. So although I was in recovery and I hadn't had a drink or a drug for quite a few years, found myself still acting out a lot, and by acting out, I mean just reaching for the easy, immediate gratification stuff to change how I felt. And I know that's something that when I say that, everyone's like, what's he talking about? But I mean, literally anything. One of the things I was kind of avoiding constantly was sleep, was just going to bed with my wife. And I wasn't ever quite sure what that was, but I was sort of reluctant to go to bed because it would mark the end of the day that I had to face the next day. And I guess I was always kind of maybe a bit fearful about what the next day would bring. So I was just putting off going to bed, and then you get tired. So if your head is in that space, you want to give yourself energy. So you end up snacking. And I'd just be up until 1 or 2 in the morning, so many nights in the week, just doom scrolling or watching cack on telly or just living that sad clown life, right? And then I guess you can't go to sleep anytime later than about 10:30, otherwise you're just not going to get up, right? So the sleep hygiene thing was the first thing that sort of hit me. I was like, oh crikey, if I'm getting up at 5 to make it there for 5:30, there's no way I can get up. I have to set my alarm, and I'm gonna have to like plan a little bit here and lay out my stuff, and can't wake him or her, so I'm gonna have to sort that out. And and then it was exciting. It's like airport time, right? Like, oh, and then you rock up at this car park and you're surrounded by South Africans, specifically in my case. Yeah, and then it was that. Okay, so they've called me a weird name. Six was like, see you again, see you on Wednesday, keep coming. And there's a phrase that we hear in the rooms of recovery a lot, which is just keep coming back. And one of those things that for me in my recovery, I've learned this time round, because I'm back from a relapse. I first came into the rooms of 12-step recovery in 2013. Relapse was an important part of my journey. I'm saying that because the first time round, I guess I came into recovery for other people. I came in for my wife, who was very poorly at the time, and for my son, who I just wasn't present for. And I was using drink and drugs to change how I felt at the time. And the second time I came back after my relapse, I very much came to recovery for myself. And what changed was the simple stuff, right? That really simple stuff, the stuff that is told to you by everyone when you first come into the rooms of recovery, which is, keep coming back, right? And that's what Stick said. And, keep it simple. Get a sponsor, work the steps, go to as many meetings as you can, take telephone numbers, pick up the phone when you're feeling like you might use, or you're feeling anything. Work the 12 steps of recovery. So that whole like keep coming back, see you next week, or see you on Wednesday. And I just kept doing that. So that I joined in March 2023, landing pretty soon. And what a lovely bunch of guys. I'll never forget it. That first time, there's a guy called Shocks, who's just a big-hearted South African. He was my battle buddy. There was this little guy with just this insane sense of humor, and very funny, but just inordinately. I mean, he was just so fit, and I was like, wow, how is he this fit? A guy called Centurion, he was the Q, and Sticks was there, and this brilliant guy called Pompey, and just all these wonderful guys, and I just kept coming back. I did that, just kept coming back, and very quickly it became like, I was looking forward to doing my BQ, and this guy called Tackle joined, and he was a cool guy, and he brought some Americans in, and they were cool as well. So this is awesome. Like everywhere I go, there's going to be an F3 somewhere. And then Stick said, sort of August, September 2023, he said, he sort of like pulled Tackle and I aside at one point, and he just said, so I've been thinking, we need to spin off, and I think you two are going to be great. And I sort of went, what do you mean going to be great? And he went, well, I think I've been doing a bit of a recce. I think there's Mayo quite near you. I want to show you Brooklands. I think Brooklands would be an amazing place for us to set up another AO, and you two AOQs. I think you're going to smash it. And already I was like, is he using NLP on me? Like he just said we're going to, like it's already like a done thing. Like, and then yeah, we did. We set it up. 7th of November, we inaugurated the circuit, and I guess I haven't really looked back from that either. Like, so my journey in F3, and I'm very conscious that I've just talked non-stop for about 10 minutes,
That's
is you're gonna cut me up. I know you're gonna cut it. You're gonna cut it, lots of it,
Promise.
and that's okay. But my journey in F3, I guess, started with a desire to sort this out, but the physical version of that, and has become something which I never thought it was going to be, which is now not about the fitness. You know, I don't go to F3s for fitness anymore. I just don't. Fitness is just a byproduct of this brilliant group of men and burgeoning, growing faith.
Excellent, fantastic, and thank you for sharing such a great story of how you got in and joined us in the gloom. Which was the bigger driver for you in that position where you're at, where you're in that sad clan syndrome and you're going through quite an intensive recovery period? What was it that appealed to you the most? Was it the fitness element of getting fit again, or was it the fellowship of that you were new to the area and you're looking to meet new people around there?
Yeah, solely the first, just the first death. As it is for I think most of us. Like, I never thought I would make friends. Like, how do you make friends with people when you can't even see their faces, right?
because it's dark, listeners.
Head
and
torches.
watchers. It's dark. Yeah, they don't wear masks. Yeah. One of the things that I was thinking about when you were saying that was just recognizing this hunger that we all have, you know, and you were putting hunger fillers in yourself, and even when you were in recovery, you were still, like you said, you were trying to do that. And I remember points back when I spent a lot of time gaming, and I recently heard Jimmy Carr talk about gaming, and he said people do gaming because it's the career they've never had. They want to beat the boss, they want to level up, they want to do all of these things, and it's very insightful. I was thinking about this hunger. Do you feel like, partly with your recovery and partly with your space and your home in F3, that it's given you a much healthier way to look at the hunger you have to feed yourself? Does that make sense? That makes sense?
Yeah, I guess so. So I've learned through the steps and through the fellowship of my anonymous program and through F3 that connection is the antithesis to addiction. And so I guess I definitely wasn't seeking out fellows or friends when I joined F3. It was very much about wanting to get fit. But they talk about a God-shaped hole in the rooms. I've heard this more and more recently. It's just maybe just the meetings that I've been to recently. But I think we all have a God-shaped hole, maybe. And whatever God is to you, I've been watching or listening, you know, God is it's a personal thing, right? Different for everyone. We call it a higher power in the rooms of recovery. And it can be as simple or as complicated or as many-headed as you like. But the point being that we've got this hole often, or I had, and sometimes have, a hole that I have always reached out for other stuff to try and fill, and nothing fills it. Not for long periods of time. You know, sometimes you can find something that's not too unhealthy that you can whack in there, like exercise. Just kind of put that. I'm running now. I'm going to train for a marathon. Boom, that's the thing that I'm going to, and that's relatively good and relatively, you know, it's going to be the thing that I'm going to try and do now. But you know, what happens when you finish the race? There's always, you know. So I've spent my life playing whack-a-mole with various different things that I become obsessed with. Yeah, for me, it's yeah, God, that I've filled that hole with. And that has been one of the biggest things that I've come away from F3 or now enjoy in F3, a third F bit that isn't just about, doing charitable work or doing a litter pick or raising money for a hospice or whatever. It's actually a group of guys who share their faith together and talk about it. I'm in a third F group for South London Borders where we study scripture and we talk about it. And this is quite a scary thing for me to admit on a podcast. I'm hoping that no one will obviously see it or hear it.
Just my mum. It's okay.
It's just your mum, yeah. Your mum jokes have just started. It's
Still listening.
9:10, but yeah. So to Shredder's mum, I'm not particularly worried about her hearing that I've got faith. But for me, the faith I'm walking with Christ and having brothers in Christ has been a big deal for me. And I've joined church and I've played football for a vets team in Woking, and I'm just not very good at football is the honest answer. I'm really enthusiastic, but I'm a bit crap on the ball. But with F3, there's none of that. You don't have that. You've just got brothers side by side and hitting the gloom and doing the hard thing and getting to the end and drinking coffee and having a laugh. And that stuff's amazing. To take that to the next level when you then... So I've got an example of this specifically. On Saturday, I doubled down PD, which was 30-30, led by Tackle. What an incredible 30-30 it was. But I doubled down beforehand. It's just a 5K, and I met up with Mouse, and Maximus joined us, which was brilliant. Good to have him back. Fixing it, still injured, so he couldn't join us either. But FBI, and we just did the 5K, and Maximus hadn't run for a while, but he shot off into the distance, and FBI was off after him, and Mouse and I were running together, and I wasn't deliberately holding back for the 6, but he knew I was, and he and as we were running, I was chatting. I told him that I was a bit anxious about some stuff at work that was going to happen this week, and I said what I was struggling with was just connecting to that bigger picture and trying to hand it over to God. And I'm just struggling to carve out time to pray, And he said, "Well, why? Let's pray now." And as we were running, he prayed with me, and that's what F3's brought me. It's brought me brothers in faith as well as in fitness, and that when you're running alongside a man who's praying with you, for you, you're praying together, and you're touched by a feeling that's way beyond your understanding, where your hairs on your arms and you're down the back of your neck start tingling, and you're like, okay, this is powerful stuff, man. This is powerful stuff. And I was almost choked to tears as we got back to the AO, and I was like, mate, thank you. I can't tell you how much that means to me.
You led a 30-30 recently, and I won't say you made me cry, but I was crying profusely in one of the songs you used because of issues where it went back to my PTSD and anxiety, and I shared that a bit with you. You're messing with our order here, Gust. This is supposed to be the third of these questions. I know. Looking at the faith thing, one of the things I'd reflect back to you in that is the last couple of Sundays in church, I've been talking to people about praying and breathing. And we had a harvest service, and I did it that week, and I did it this week just gone. And I said to people, you know what? Sometimes we don't know what to do. And you can pray in, and you can pray the words of scripture quite easily. You can pray, "The Lord's my shepherd," as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, you say, "I shall not want." So then there's thousands of things like that. And I know that we have we need a tremendous diversity of faith in terms of the way we are as men in the UK, because there is so much, without us going into it, extreme isms that are being, you talk about doom scrolling because you're bored. I was doom scrolling last night, and in the end I had to turn it off because I'd seen about 50 weird AI videos about white people telling people who weren't white to get out, and then about another 50 saying we're Muslims and this is the truth. And I'm like, we just need men to connect to one another in love and honesty and in faith, actually, in our humanity. And actually, if we do have different faiths, that we talk about that in an honoring way, because whoever the Sky Q is to people, certainly the way to me this guy Q speaks is we shouldn't treat people in dishonouring ways. So it's nice to hear about that with you and Mouse. And next time you're conversationally running, you can pray all kinds of scriptures. I'll send you a list. It's good. Good. But thank you for that. The next thing we wanted to ask you was to tell us all about your home AO.
By home, you mean where
Where
I was brought up, or
no, your home AO. Rewind. Shall we start that again? So Gust, you're in this thing called F3. Would you like to tell us about the place where you go to do your exercise, please? Tell us about your home AO, Go.
My home AO is the circuit these days. It began at the, so I'll often get down once or twice, maybe 3 times down to the brook. I've been down to a fair few times down to the bridge, but the circuit's my home, which is at Brooklands Community Park on a Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, starting promptly at 5:30. The what 3 words are gone, moral, ranged. Again, that's gone, moral, ranged.
Excellent.
However, there are many other AOs that you can go to, such as the bridge, such as the weir, such as the landing. Yes.
And the ones in Yorkshire as well. Don't forget those.
And the ones up north. Yes, past the N25.
Is it well lit, your AO, or do you need head torches?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, you do often need a head torch if we're going to venture beyond, at this time of the season, beyond that sort of quad of lights that we create. So, but, yeah, it's the wonderful thing about the circuit is the space that we have. We have an enormous park, and much of it is concrete because it was Knowles airstrip, Brooklands airfield. So we've got a runway that we can play with, which is just fantastic, and go-kart tracks which we can run around, and a banked race circuit from when it was Brooklands racetrack. And so we've got so much to play with there. It's awesome. And in the summer, it's just incredible. It comes alive. In the winter, it's just like anywhere. You just put on your hat, put on your gloves, grit your teeth, and you up and go.
Good. Occasionally you have a circus there as well, which is always fun, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got one there at the moment.
Have you? They're back, are they? I miss them.
Yeah. Do you? You can have them.
No, you know what? I did miss them a little bit because when I did my VQ in March, I was so keen to get there that I think I arrived for my VQ at 4:55. And this is obviously, I'd done the dry run with you guys a few days before where you realised I had 3 BDs planned, not 1. But I sat there in my car at 4:55 looking out at them thinking, it's probably safe for me to get out of the car, but I don't know if they have any exciting dogs that might be loose. And I'd planned for us to run with the cinder blocks to the 200-metre strip because it was the length of the side of the pyramid. And we basically ran right up to their front door. And when I measured it out, I was a bit like, please don't get eaten by a dog. It's going to be so embarrassing. So they're back. Well, bless them. That's kind. You need to eat them. They could plant all over.
They could.
No.
I'm just not saying anything about them.
I know.
They're traveling circuses in town, but it doesn't stay for long. So
no. Let's keep going then.
That out. Okay, cool. Okay, let's talk acceleration. We think about what F3 does to us in the morning. We get up nice and early. We get alongside our brothers in the gloom. We wear ourselves out doing a nice chunky BD like the one that Shredder's got planned for tomorrow that he's given me a preview about. So well done to those who did it yesterday, if I get the release dates right. So we get up, we get out, we get sweaty, and we get ourselves set up for the day. How is attending F3 since you've gone through your journey in your recovery? How has that changed your approach to how it sets you up for the day?
Before I didn't set myself up for the day. Not really. I might have started the day on my knees with a quick serenity prayer, but it's different. It's different when you've got kids, isn't it? As soon as you've got a child in your life, that's you're up and you're straight into getting them dressed, getting them fed, getting them out the door on time, and that's it. And then you start thinking about, oh crikey, now I've got to get to work. Yeah, I mean it's just a world apart. I start a Tuesday. Well, if I extend it and if I do 4 or 5 BDs in a week, I can get myself down to the weir on a Monday, and I'm back by 6:30, 6:45. I'm up before the kid. I'm usually at least offering to make breakfast. It's difficult when you get sort of grunts and slurs, but that's just having a teenager in response. And then once he's off, that's it. I'm washed and dressed and out the door, and I've already had a couple of cups of black coffee. Not if I've gone to the weir. That's not black.
No,
That's only coffee.
But do they put milk in?
It's not even that. Let's not talk about it. As soon as we start down the road of coffee, this whole podcast is gonna become about that. And you
we'll
don't
just get dark, won't we? And not in a dark roast kind of way.
No, it's not dark. I mean, it's just this slurry that people serve, thinking that it's coffee, is it's not even a class thing. Like I think when you've given stop it. It's like talking about scones. Like creams first, everything else, shut the F up. And coffee is the same. Unless you start the day, don't do that, please. Don't do that. Don't do
I
that.
was just thinking, scones,
it's cream
jam.
first. It's cream first, then the jam. You would never butter toast after you put the Marmite on. It's basic physics. And it's the same with coffee. Don't start the day with slurry that tastes like something you've strained through a sock. Like, if it's not being properly made, it's not. I did say this is going to get dark and serious very quickly as soon as we start talking about coffee. So, but one thing I can say, guaranteed, is if you go to the circuit or indeed the bridge, and yes, I'm putting that out there to all the packs at the weir and the landing, but if you go to the circuit or the bridge, guaranteed you'll get a good cup of coffee.
And the brook.
And the brook. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Fresh coffee. Did you not know that? I learned. Where's my home AO? Do you know what? I will just say this. Okay, we've never served instant coffee, and it's okay if you do, because the Sky Cube loves you anyway. No, he still does.
I don't think he does.
Still does.
I think he's judging.
No, look. Honestly, I have so much trouble in my life as it is. Please,
now, don't encourage bad coffee on this podcast.
We don't want bad coffee. We know Americans, the Sky Club Q loves you as well, but you guys probably could improve your coffee quality too, because I've heard a lot of Americans say it's not great. But the point for me is that a good welcome to anyone, just like you'd welcome them to your home, includes serving them a good product. So it's hospitality and it's love, and that's why to me it matters. Like the other day, we had a BD, and I'd put a load of cookies in the freezer, and I got them out, and at the co-op today they had a load more, and they're in the freezer for our VQ coming this Saturday, and I've got some more because I want people to come in. I want them to have a cracking workout. I want them to stay in chat as long as possible, and I want them to feel like they're loved and valued. So to me, it's a pure thing of saying to someone, I've given you my best, and I would do that.
Can I just interrupt you? I'm sorry, just to ask, is that what you were doing when you fed us mincemeat brownies?
The mincemeat. Do you not like my mincemeat brownies?
Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say I didn't like them. It's a choice to put mincemeat.
Do you not like them?
I mean, why don't you put a poll out? Put a poll out on Band. Just saying. Listen, I'm not insulting you. I'm just saying.
Mine seemed to have got lost in the post, which, if I recall right, when they were supposed to have come with the In Cadence flag.
I sent you an In Cadence flag. You haven't even put it up. So you can't have brownies until I put your flag up.
Where am I going to hang the flag up? All right.
It's not my problem. Get some scaffolding. Do you know what?
I think there is a serious point about the coffee, though.
Do it.
Without going a bit silly about it, there is a serious point about the coffee, which is pretty much what you just said about striving for a little bit of excellence. And there's something about finishing a BD and having a decent cup of coffee afterwards, and a cookie or
whatever
normal brownie, which is really nice afterwards, because you just feel like the queue really put a bit of effort in there. That's nice.
It's like,
nice.
If I go to visit someone, quite often I would take them a bottle of wine or something like that, even though I don't drink anymore, and I buy it to give to people as a gift. Just it's about honor. If you haven't listened to last Thursday's episode of the Whetstone podcast, everybody needs to go and listen to that and listen to what it means to be Steve, because F3 needs us all to be Steve. And I'm going to leave that there, because the more Steve we have, the more gecko this movement is. You've been a stirrer, a location leader, you've been an AOQ, and you've passed that mantle on. So you're kind of like AOQ emeritus, if we want to go with our American brothers terminology. And there is a lot of mumble chat, both here and in America, about packs kind of falling off the grid after completing that service. And I went all posh and I went to Dylan Thomas, and I was like, Dylan Thomas says, do not go gently into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at the close of day. You're not far from respect. Rage against the dying of the light. So where's the gust fire taking you after you've done all those things?
I would say, can I say like early October? Is that going to work with your timeline?
Say anything you want to.
Okay, it's early October, and we're about to approach the hardest times for any packs, be it experienced or not. And harping back a little bit to what I said earlier about keeping it simple. Like for me, in October, we're not even at the shortest day yet, and it's now dark when we leave the AO, and the weather's turning, and it's already getting colder. And this is the time for any packs who hasn't done a winter in F3 that acceleration is great, but consistency is greater. And I would say, do 3-4 a week through this winter and come back and ask me the same question in March. Now I might be running another marathon or half marathon again, and yeah, great. I'll continue doing that stuff. But at this time, it's just let's get our heads down. Let's go shoulder to shoulder and get through the flipping winter, because it's grim. But it's never grim when you're side by side with brothers.
Wearing skins, which does help if in the real cold. Doing
Is
snow,
that tights?
bear crawls.
Is that
Yeah, tights.
mean
Yeah, if you want
tights,
to call them
is that-
tights. Yeah. Tights for
yeah,
for
talk
men
to
with big
Darby
thighs.
about
Trigger Darby. I was literally going Trigger Darby in my head.
Yeah.
First time
Darby
he's
doesn't
in
like us
tights.
wearing tights,
He doesn't like us wearing tights. He's worried about. I don't know.
but not like Chameleon, who wears vests in February in -7. That man's like built different. He's insane.
Well, he's about to start a new AO, which we'll be able to talk about
He is. Yeah, it's
in
very
a few weeks'
exciting.
time. Him and Bam Bam starting in Lightwater, which is about 2 inches away from Berkshire. They are on the M3 Junction 3 Lightwater Leisure Centre. So we'll get more details about that for next time for sure. I like Chameleon. And he has the most entertaining hair in the whole of F3 that I've seen so far. And like yourself, he has posted a lot. I said this to you this week. You have posted a lot. And that's consistency. So that's your thing at the moment. It's just dig in, stay consistent. And then in the spring, ask what you're doing.
Hell yeah.
Good.
Excellent. Should we move on to some £1 million questions?
Yes. Let's. Okay. You love the leather, right? Yes. So you love the leather.
Not during a BD.
Okay.
No, that would scare Darby even more. So you love the leather. So for you, which motorbike brings all the boys to the yard? Which motorbike's got the milkshake that's better than yours?
So I ride a Kawasaki Vulcan, and if I had a spare 15 grand, I'd probably want to buy a secondhand like Sport Glide. I kind of dream of owning a Harley Davidson, but I can't afford to keep one because they're like a very expensive, bratty fitted on the side, and I couldn't afford to keep one even if I could afford the initial outlay. So I guess what I'm kind of waiting for is like a new Vulcan, like a new Kawasaki cruiser to rival the Honda Rebel 1100, if you've seen one of them, which a friend recently described as a bike that looks like it's already had a head-on collision. It's really ugly. It's really ugly. There's a guy called Ragnar in Arm. So that's another group that I belong to, but I say another, it's like, so I belong to a group called the Association of Recovering Motorcyclists, and I'm the president of the Southern chapter of Arm in the UK, and chapter 89. And yeah, those boys all ride really nice bikes, and I'm on the crappiest, one of the fastest, but crappiest bikes compared to them. They've got beautiful bikes, Road Glide, Road Kings, the lot, amazing bikes, and
Is
there's me on this little girl's Harley.
the words girls Harley, because you said it's not, but it's not a Harley, because a second ago it sounded like you were describing a Harley as a fat mistress. Was that
Basically a fat expensive mistress
sorry, fat expensive mistress
who's constantly having like constructive surgery. Yeah,
okay.
you just need to constantly plow money into her and very rarely enjoy a ride. Sorry. Keep that in.
So what you're telling me is the cost per ride is through the roof, so it's just not worth it. Yeah.
Correct.
Mum, stop now. Turn it off, Mum. Turn it off. She knows the theory. It's okay.
So, Gust, if you could have any superpower, and thinking back to your acting days, you may have represented something in the superpower domain, maybe, or you may be more classical. No, not that exciting. Okay, well, if you were cast as some multi-million-dollar movie, but you could actually keep that superpower for real life, what would you go for?
I would go for a superpower that is off the wall. I'd go for the ability to always diffuse with comedy and make someone laugh, and at the same time give anyone insight into their true nature or character. So you can literally make them see themselves for what they really are, for what they truly are. Because I think there's a lot of people out there who take themselves really, really seriously. And I'm not talking about, just leaders of the free or unfree world. I'm talking about people who just, even in the office, sometimes they just take themselves a bit too seriously and they don't seem to have any insight into their true character. And the ability to be able to go, hey, look, this is what you look like. I'll just hold up the mirror and make them go, oh, wow, I'm an absolute knob. Look at me. I'm going to change. That would be an incredible superpower, wouldn't it? I mean, imagine the power that you'd be able to wield. You could just end wars around the world, just like Kim Jong-un. Look at this. Hey, not naming any particular presidents or presidential candidates. I'm not getting political at all. But I'm just saying, I think war. You could go down the Marvel route. Like, imagine doing that to Thanos or Magneto. Be like, check that out. That's the real you. Look at you. Look at yourself. Yeah, I think that'd be good.
I was going to say, I think you're safe, Gust, because I don't think we've had any views come in from North Korea to the In Cadence podcast yet. So
thank goodness.
I think you're safe,
right.
but just don't drop any Kim Jong-un jokes again, please.
Okay, I'll try not to.
Have you seen the film Shallow Hal?
Yes.
Right. So you're kind of talking about almost like an embodiment of what, because one of the things I love about that film, and I haven't preached that film, but I've talked about it in a couple of sermons, and sometimes I think people go, oh my goodness, he's mental. I mean, most people think that's fine. I love the way that film messes with our sense of the reality of a person by, we actually watch it and you see the women that he chases and they're so superficial, and then he gets this real sight and his friend's like, oh gosh, but actually she's not attractive, and he's like, but I can see inside her. But there's that extra layer, isn't there, where in the background you see other things going on with people that exposes what they're actually like. So you kind of want that, and an embodiment where you can just, because I thought when you said you wanted the power to make people laugh, you were just talking about sort of being able to fart on command or something.
I can do
You're
that.
actually, you can do that anyway, but you're talking about...
That's what they call me Gust, isn't it?
We haven't even got onto your gusty flaps, have we? I think that's wonderful. Being able to go, look, just appropriately help people to see what they're like. You'd have a long list.
I mean, I'd keep my concentrica. I'd start at home and then I'd just work out into the office, and then, you know, and then end up with world leaders.
Do those later.
Just hold up the mirror.
That's really cool because, you know, most people would just say, I'd like to be able to fly or, you know,
or freeze time, or
Yeah.
X-ray vision, or
it's like you've thought about this, you know.
Mm.
Good.
Preparedness.
Well, preparedness is my question where we go next.
at least one of us is
What do you
prepared
say?
tonight.
It's okay. It's okay. We are not professionals. Right. I'm going to ask you if you could eat anyone, and I mean anyone, who would you, and if you had the chance to, because it was needed to decide on their name after being an FNG, what would you call them?
It's really tough, but I know exactly who. There is a guy who is about, well, he said, I think a couple of times, he's 81. And on a Saturday morning, he walks his dog at the circuit. Every Saturday, he is there. And he always walks past us about 6:25, 6:30. And he's got a Rottweiler. And the amount of times that I have said, join us in the Circle of Trust, or come and sit down and have a coffee and join us. And you know, bless him, he's 81, right? He's on earth would he sit around with a group of people in their 50s and 60s, you know, and he goes, "Oh, you're well done, guys. It's very, very impressive that you're doing this. It's very impressive." And we're like, "Come and join us, then. Come and join us." And he's like, "Oh, I'm a bit old now, you know." But that's the guy I would want to EH. I'd want to EH the guy just for two reasons. One, so we could say respect, respect, respect. That would be cool. I don't think there's any of them out there. Maybe there are. Probably in the States. Probably
In
not
America.
in the
It's
States.
in the
No,
States.
Yeah, no,
is there?
Yeah.
Ah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'd like a quadruple respect. I'd like to give him that. And then what would I call him? Toddler. I'd call him Toddler as a play on the age, and the fact that he is utterly in the fact that he will not join us. And the only time I've ever seen that is that petulance of a toddler. There you go.
he's
The toddler.
lovely.
He's a lovely guy. He always
Lovely.
wears a really cool hat. He's got like a trilby or something.
And a barber
Yeah,
jacket, right? He's got a barber jacket on.
I don't know. He's a very well-dressed, distinguished
Well-dressed.
looking gent who just
He
looks like he
keeps
needs
horses.
F3.
He has horses. Do you remember him saying that? He's got horses.
I've never heard him say that, but I mean, yeah, he's the kind of guy that probably does have horses. Yes.
He was talking about them one 30-30. And I mean, he also then said, my mincemeat brownies are the best brownies in the world.
Oh, you
no, he
cut
didn't.
off. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so
What was
sorry.
that?
I was just saying how
I
fabulous
actually
your hair
can't
was.
hear you.
Okay, so apart from the old guy with the Rottweiler in the park that's refusing your EHing, if you were stuck in an elevator and some guy asked you, what's that F3 shirt you're wearing? What's your 30-second elevator pitch to him to convince him to come and join you?
I work in an old people's home, so the lift, not an elevator, the lift is only ever populated by mainly female carers and the occasional nonagenarian. So it's unlikely to happen. Can I just buff it away?
Okay, let's start again. So if you're in a, and I'm going to go full out Americanism now. If you're in a shopping mall and you get stuck in an elevator next to a guy, now you've got 15 seconds because you're in a mall.
Yeah.
What's your quick EH?
I don't have one. I don't have a quickie. And I don't think they work. And I think if you do try and quickly someone, you might be able to convince them to come down once, but that's not going to change anything. I think consistency, the time that I've EA people and they've hung around has been times when they have seen me consistently at recovery meetings or even at work, where they've seen me and they've seen the change in me and I've seen the change in them, and the change hasn't been a positive one for them, but it's been a positive one for me. And I think that there's a phrase in recovery that you hear a lot about attraction rather than promotion. We don't promote 12-step recovery. And the same with ARM. You know, in my recovering bikers, we don't promote ARM, but it's attraction rather than promotion. And I think F3 is that incarnate. I think if you are fitter and friended and have faith, then those qualities are kind of magnetic. And I think that it's an inevitability that F3 comes up in conversation. Oh, you're looking great today, Flea. They wouldn't be calling you Flea. They'd be calling you Keith. They'd be like, Keith, you're looking great today. How are you doing? And you'd be like, oh, thanks. Yes, because I got up at 5 this morning and I exercised with a bunch of mates. And I think, the next time you see them in a fortnight's time or 6 months' time, and they're like, wow, look at you. You're looking great. You're looking like living your best life. You can say, yeah, I am. Come down.
That's how I got three guys in.
That's it. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's attraction rather than promotion. I think long term, attraction rather than promotion is what works with F3. Because an elevator pitch or a lift pitch or a mall pitch or whatever, I think it's you might get that one guy. You might be enough of a salesman, but it's that whole thing, isn't it? Of like trying to sell a pen. You can't sell the pen. You just ask them to sign a name, and they go, "Oh, I can't." Well, what do you need? No, you need this, right? That's the thing. So I think you need to have the desire. Otherwise, F3 is just like some crazy morning where a bunch of blokes in a car park gave you a weird name and then you never went back.
That might set some people free. I mean, in that sense, some people, perhaps they do have that sale word, and they do that. And I can think of some packs that I know, if we asked them that question, they'd actually be quite scared to ask anyone or to say to somebody, look, not, hey, I've got 30 seconds to sell F3 to you, but they'd be quite scared of doing that. But you can see the change in them. I mean, that's quite often why someone gets an MVP at the end of a BD, isn't it? Because you can see the growth. You can see the acceleration in their life.
Hell yeah.
An interesting reflection. It's good. Well, that's the thing. That is the thonged thing. It's done. We got some notices.
Did you just say that's the thing thonged?
That's the thing thung.
I hope your mum isn't listening to this. It's just embarrassing.
I can't really say anything about thongs and my mum at this point, can I? I had to explain what thongs were to my son this morning because we were watching Bluey and they were wearing thongs. And he said to me, they look like sandals. And I was like, yeah, we call them sandals. And he went, why did the Australians call them thongs? And I'm going, and then he said, what did we call a thong? And I was like, and I had to explain to him. He said, they're ladies' pants, my love. And at which point he went, well, that's funny, Dad. And I'm like, Australians, they are wonderful. I wish we had some Australians as F3 packs in the UK. I'm surprised we don't have a few. I don't think I've ever met one. No?
I'm not aware of any.
No?
I'd like to be proven wrong. If you know of any Australian packs in the UK, please drop us an email on the email address above.
Well, anyway, notice this time. I want to say at this point, I'm going to mark myself safe from the Iron Packs 2025 challenge. Weirdly, today, I felt really, you were talking earlier about sometimes you might train for an event and you train for a marathon and you do it and then what afterwards? I had a bit of a crazy day today with the dentist and going to visit a family who've just been bereaved and planning a funeral. I had a small window for a workout. And because Iron Packs is finished and it was brutal, a massive respect to everybody who's actually posted legit scores. If you Pinocchio'd it, just go and have a word with yourself. But if you worked hard on those workouts, they were nasty. But I felt really lost. I was like, what do I do? So I started prepping and doing the Valor fitness testing today. So I missed a workout this morning. I really wanted one. I woke up at 4 and having a very bad dream that involved a squirrel putting a cat in a wire cage that it made with a fluffy toy for entertainment. It was one of those mornings, You talk about denying going to bed. I nearly got up at 4 a.m. and drove to the Weir this morning. That's how weird my day was. But
eat cheese before bed?
No, but you know what? Anyway, I know I'm not going to get a good score on the final Iron Packs workout, but we did a BERT and it was very challenging, even though they cut the distances for running in half. It's not normal to do 100 burpees, 200 push-ups, 300 lunges and 200 air squats and run 1.6 kilometers. Peace and love to all of you who did that. 2026, I hope we can get some proper UK guys, AOs working on it, because there's AO versus AO challenges, and I think we could really bring some heat to the Americans and take some of their legit first places off them. Not me, because I'm old and pretty slow, but you could do it, Gust. You're fast and young. You're young as well.
I'll take
You
young.
guys could-
Thanks. I'll take that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're
Never get
you're
handsome.
But yeah, and you both got great eyes. You've got lovely eyes. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Thanks.
Good stay.
Anyway,
Yeah, but serious note though, from a UK sector point of view, we should have a concerted effort next year at the Iron Packs. Let's get some UK regions on that leaderboard. It'd be great to see some names up there for sure. So we'll see
damn good
what we
work.
can coordinate. That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we should do it. You were in America, Flea. You going to tell us anything about that? You allowed?
Yeah, that was fantastic. I mean, it's a long flight to get there, to be honest. But I flew out on a Friday and got to Charlotte, which is the origin of F3. So yeah, got out to North Carolina. I got picked up from my hotel on Saturday morning by Forge from Hunt for Wellness podcast, who kindly picked me up, took me for a coffee. And we then did a 2-hour monster beatdown in terms of 4 WODs that were put together in honor of some fallen servicemen and women in North Carolina who died in the line of duty. So they were honor WODs for the team. So got a nice commemorative T-shirt. So I took part in that. It was raining, it was wet, it was horrible. There was some rather epic bear crawl variants that they put us through. Yeah, that was great. So they left Charlotte and got across to Las Vegas, posted in Las Vegas on Monday morning, and I had the honor of queuing by the side of the Lone Mountain in Las Vegas with the sun coming up. That was superb. There was another guy downrange from Houston, a guy called Spirit Fingers. I'll give a shout out to. So he joined us, and we were both downrange packs who were welcomed by the Vegas guys. And then me and Spirit Fingers went for a quick mosey up the strip on the Wednesday morning, just us two. So that was quite nice to go and do it in the quiet at 5:30 in the morning, both suffering from jet lag and not knowing what time of day it was. But yeah, that was great. Got out there and met some guys, and as always with F3, welcomed with open arms. Never met the guys, and it was just like we're just turning up and have been posting there for months. So yeah, really, really hospitable all round, and yeah, it's a great trip, and looking forward to doing it again next year.
You got more work to go back over. Nice.
Well, I've got to go back for work next year. It's fixed in the diary. I've got to go back, so I'm going to try and do the same and get out.
Yes, I wouldn't mind. If anybody in America wants me to come on a preaching tour, I'd be more than glad to come. And
we're open. We're available for bookings, aren't we? So in Cadence on tour, we'll come and do. Yeah.
You need me to come and do some Sunday services, that's fine, and I'll come and post. I'll practice the flying. So yes, okay. Well, look, this is really exciting because we want guys to come and to stay and to stick. And I know Guardian said he doesn't expect every man to come, but he wants every man to know that they've been welcomed and invited. And a lot of packs have been working hard in the UK in this last couple of weeks. Just when you thought this list of guys that have started couldn't get any bigger, it has. So, and these are all legit names. So I want to welcome some people home and try and get these right. So at the Hall, HALL, which is our current newest AO in Castle Bromwich, I have Snapshot, I have Drift, and I have Bonesy. So welcome home, brothers. Probably one of the coolest names I've heard in some time. Johnny Appleseed. Like to know that origin story,
Good
right?
name,
And Jules, I wonder if that included someone accidentally kicking him in a special place. Also in the Midlands. Timeshare has been welcomed in the landing. Philly has been welcomed, I think, by Westy up at the pits. We have Monzo, Zero, Downhill, and Gander at the way. We have Scrambler at the stocks. We have Geppetto, Snowden. This morning we have Pope, and we have Brains all at the bridge. And at the Brook, we've had the pleasure of welcoming Dolphin, and then this Saturday we had 3, which was madness. Kruger, like Freddy Krueger. Steak, because his real name is Vegan, VIG, Vigan. So they call him Steak. And then a guy called Rush, who has come from Richmond. So Dolphin is from Greenwich. And so we've got guys from Greenwich, Richmond, and Croydon coming when they can to Morden for BDs. So I'm
They're placed
excited.
nicely, aren't they?
I'm excited because I already know I've got other ones interested in Richmond who've got friends at the way. And I'm sitting there going, this is the start of a new region. Yes. One step at a time, like you said, Gust. Just get through this challenging winter, get them coming with consistency, but welcome home at least that many men in the last 2 weeks. That's phenomenal. So keep telling people and inviting them, and as Gus said, showing them the change. Excited.
Blown away. I'm blown away by how many guys have joined the 2 weeks. That's great.
Cool. Brains turned up at the bridge, and then we turned up at the circuit on Saturday. Yeah,
I saw.
It was awesome. Yeah,
I saw.
he was a cool guy.
And he had an MVP, didn't he? Good form. I saw. I was reading the back blast. I missed you guys so much. I really enjoyed coming in the last holiday. I want to come in half term if I can.
I'd say we
It's
miss
weird.
you. We do. We also miss your brownies.
Too late now. No, it's home, you know. The Brook is now home, but it's hard when you I mean, you did this, didn't you? I mean, I know you didn't really change much distance-wise, but you're not where you started. You've kind of had a home AO and then you've switched, right? Right?
Yeah, well, I started at the factory. That was where it started in Yorkshire. I posted there for 3 months, and then we spun off the mansion, and I was AOQ there. So that wasn't much longer with the factory than I've been in the mansion, and I'm posting equally between the two. So I'm going to both.
The benefits for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
And the Brummies do
between
the
the
same
two.
thing. They're always meshing. I don't think we do that as much with the increased proximity in the south and the southeast. But yes, anyway, circuit's got a place in my heart that's special. So thank you to all of you, and you and Tackle especially. So I'm getting emotional.
I know. Well, let's move on before you get too emotional and cry. So let's move on.
Again.
Just as I mentioned earlier on, I mentioned Forge from Hunt for Wellness podcast. Yeah, please have a listen, guys. There are other F3 Nation podcasts out there. Please have a listen to them, subscribe, watch them. If they've got videos on YouTube, listen to them, subscribe on Spotify and Apple. We always stick the links out on Band UK for you to follow. Please have a look around and listen to the others as well, particularly the Whetstone, the Circle of Trust, Hunt for Wellness. Which other ones am I missing? High Impact Man, I think that's them all, but errors and emissions excluded. Please subscribe and have a listen.
I think Stuff Worth Trying is supposed to be coming back again.
Oh, Stuff Worth Trying as well, yeah.
It's not been up for a while. Yes. It's a good family to be part of. It's a good journey that we're on.
Any final words from you, Gust, before we wrap up today?
Just a big kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. That's it, isn't it? I think we can all overthink stuff and make things about, things more complicated than they need to be, and really those simple Fs is what it's all about. Just we pack up our kit, we set ourselves up ready for the next morning, and then when the alarm goes off, the rain lashing on the window doesn't stop us, and we just let our legs do the talking, and that's it. I've never ever regretted posting to a BD.
Yes. No, that's utterly right. That is utterly right. Get posting.
I did question my sanity a couple of times though. Like, why am I here? Like, at the time.
But never after.
But
never
after. No, after. It's always a great idea, and that was fantastic.
Yeah. I questioned my footwear on my first ever post. I had the wrong footwear on.
Yeah, one of our AOQs in Yorkshire's got a habit of doing that. Lager Top has won the award, actually, the annual F3 Yorkshire Award for most inappropriate equipment for his white trainers in a muddy field in Yorkshire. Yeah, not the best choice.
My first post with Gust and Tackle, I wore essentially like when people wear these new shoes that aren't really shoes, they're just kind of like these like water shoes that are totally flat. They're good for lifting in because you can feel the floor. I had no sense of fact we're going to be running around like lunatics, and the cowabungas I think we did. Those flat shoes were useless. They were useless, and it was quite painful, but it was still the best beginning that I could imagine. So good. Well, look, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time with another guest. Really want to say thank you to Gust for coming and sharing and being with us. And we'll see you all in the gloom soon. Aye?
Aye.
I
Aye.